All right, let's begin our practice. Let's start with breathing in and out through the nose. And perhaps set an intention for yourself today. It might be that I'm going to express appreciation for my body and all that brought me to this moment. It could be that I'm going to stop when I feel any discomfort or pain and then make a decision about how to move forward. It can be that I didn't have a good night's sleep last night, so I'm going to honor my energy level. You make up the intention that works for you. So let's start by lifting the shoulders up towards our ears and take them back and around. Roll the shoulders around and about. As you breathe in and as you breathe out. Just nice massaging of the shoulders as we begin our practice. A few more, you might reverse it, bringing the shoulders forward, down, back, and around. And let's make sure we're situated on the chair so that our posture can be nice and tall. With your feet just about underneath your knees. So if you were to look down, your heels are just about underneath the knees. Let's rock forward and back and feel what we're sitting on, which are our sitting bones. You can feel when you go back that there's little belly engaging. You can feel when you go forward, the belly might just hang forward. So notice that and see if you can find that midway point where you feel like the crown of the head is rising skyward, and you might put your hand on top of your head. It's just a way to push the top of your head into your palm and your palm into your head. It's not a hard pressure. It's very, very gentle, like you're tapping yourself on the top of your head. And then exhale and lower your arms down. I was reading about fractures. I'm taking this class on osteoporosis, and they were saying that one of the two determinants, obviously one is balance for bone fractures, and the other one is posture. So we want to play with the advantages of a yoga practice. Let's take our hands to the top of our knees or our thighs and round the spine like the cat. Chin is to the chest. And then inhale, lift tall and roll your shoulders back, lifting your chest cavity up towards the sky. Exhale, round, chin is to chest. I'm leaning back here a little bit on the sitting bones. And then inhale, lifting your heart upwards. You might gently press your palms into your thighs and come back upright. Take your hands to your hips, just to the top crest of your hips. Roll your shoulders up and back, and then gently push down your hips and lift up and out as though your waist is getting longer. So you're creating space. We're going to try to keep that as we move. Lowering the arms down by your side, let's sway towards your right. And the arms can just dangle at this moment. And then come back up and sway towards the left. Not too much. You don't want to fall off the chair. Keep pushing down through your feet and your thighs into the chair as we sway back to the right. You might lift the opposite elbow. And then alternating sides. Breathe in and breathe out. And don't worry about if your breath is matching exactly my cues. I'm just reminding all of us that we need to breathe. Let's take our arms out to the side. Yes, reach outward. And then turn your palms down and up. Maybe going a little bit higher. It's all going to depend on your range of motion, your shoulders, your arms. Let's just sway the palms upright and downward as we move. Elevate the arms and lower them back down. Next time your arms are about shoulder height, spread your fingers, lift your toes, and then exhale, press your toe pads down and release your arms. We're going to find our first twist, and we want to twist on the exhale where we're pulling the belly in. So inhale, we grow tall. We take our exhale, pull the belly in on the exhale as you find your twist towards the right. Now, your left hand can go outside your right thigh. Your right hand can go to the back of the chair or at an angle. Find the place where it's comfortable for you. I like right now, I got a great place. I'm holding onto the side here so you can see. And then I'm pushing my elbow into the back of the chair, and that feels really good too. Take about 3 breaths as you breathe in and you breathe out. Enjoy your twist. And then come back to center. Let's tip the right ear down towards the right shoulder. Get some nice length on the side of the neck. And then push down through your feet and your hips, and the head lifts up. So we're giving some momentum to help the head lift without strain. Finding the twist now towards your left, right hand outside the left thigh, left hand, you find the spot that's good for you. Could be the back of the chair or at a diag. Then we're going to take an inhale and lift tall. And exhale, find our twist now towards the left. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. One more, breath is in and breath is out, and come back to center. Let's play with windshield wiper in the chair. So you're going to take your feet a little wider. So maybe mat width apart. Again, it's going to depend on your inner thighs and how tight they are. We're going to let the right knee drop towards center. And then inhale, pick it up and let the left knee drop to center. Now, as you do this, let the weight come onto the inside of the foot for the knee that's going towards center. Do that a few times, alternating like your legs are a windshield wiper. As you inhale and as you exhale. Then we're going to come back up and let's lift our right arm skyward. Now, this is going to depend on your range of motion. You're going to go as far as you can, but then no further, right? We're not pushing past our edge. Reach high, your highest, not mine. Spread fingers. Feel your belly lengthen upwards. Good stretch there. And exhale, let the arm drop down. Yes. Other side. Left arm lifting, elbow may be bent. We may lengthen it. Reach high. Now notice if this shoulder starts to creep up with your arm, and consciously tell it to lower back down, even though the arm stays stretched long. Breathe in, breathe out, and let the arm go. Now we're going to drop the right knee back to center and lift the right arm up and get a nice stretch. If you want to hold on to the side of the chair, go for it. Reach tall and feel length along the right side of your body. Let it go. And let's do the other side. Exhale, knee drops into center. Arm lifts high. Feel a good lengthening. Spread the ribs on the left side of your body. Relax the shoulder if it creeped up. The reason I say that is because it often creeps up. And notice if your ribs are jutting forward, try to pull them back. And then let's come back to neutral and walk our feet back into neutral. Extend the legs forward, hold on to the side of the chair. Point your toes away from you and then pull them towards you. Lengthen, pull in, and then circle the ankles around and about. I don't know how many of you are playing in the water this summer. Imagine you're drawing little circles in the water with your toes and reverse it. I hope you're doing some good summer fun. Let's pull the heels back towards us and let's stretch our legs. So we're going to use a strap if you have one. If you don't, you can interlace your fingers underneath the leg. Now, if you have another chair or some type of ottoman, I highly suggest it. It's very nice. And I'm going to put a blanket on here because it's a little hard surface, but this is really nice for stretching the legs out. Oh, I got to do the other side. I don't actually have to do the other side. It doesn't matter what side we do first because we have two, right? All right, right side, the sunny side. So you can rest the leg on a chair. If you don't have one, no worries. You can use blocks, books. I'll show you. Here's an example. It's a way to rest your leg down while you're stretching, which can be more effective. If not, you can play with lifting your leg. Now, we want to make sure that we keep our arms long, shoulders up and back, and there may be a slight bend in the elbow, but we're lifting tall, shoulders are on the back, push the heel away. So whether you're resting down or not, we're lifting tall, core is engaged. Feel the stretch as you breathe in and you breathe out. So this might be another way to do it, to hug your elbows into the side. Some people want to go like this, but see what that's doing to my posture? Doesn't feel so good on the back. You probably won't get as good of a stretch. So try to sit tall. That's what we're working on here. And then we want to try to get some lengthening through the back of the leg. Now we're trying to straighten the leg. It may not straighten all the way. Make sure you're hugging the muscle to the bone on the thigh. And people say to me, what is that? Squeeze your muscle to your bone, and that's going to help release your hamstrings on the opposite side, which are right there. So see how that feels for you. A lot of people like to touch their muscle and see if it's activating. And it may take a while for your brain to register to your body what is squeezing the thigh. Let's turn the leg out now. So the toes are out and the kneecap is out. The heel is inward. You can hold the tie with one arm. And we know this leg is heavy. So if it's not resting down, of course, it's going to feel heavier. Take a few more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Toes back upright. Bend the knee back in. And let's circle this leg around and about before we go to the other side. So bring the knee in and around and about. Try to stay tall when you do this. You can also have both hands underneath the thigh. Some people put the strap underneath their thigh, but we are lubricating our hip joint as we do this. It helps to bring in some of that mobility. Think about when else does your leg bone circle like this unless you intentionally do it. And other side. So strap around foot if you've got one. And I like to crisscross it. I don't know why, it just feels like it gives a little bit more leverage to cross the strap. You don't have to. You want it, a lot of times the foot looks like this. I don't know if you can see that, but the big toes coming towards me, little toes away. So what you can do is pull on the strap on the opposite side, and then it's more flat, like you were gonna step down on the earth. So it looks like your big toe mound is pushing away. Let's get a nice stretch here, sitting tall, breathing softly in and out, and give a little hug to the muscles around your thigh bone. Give a little hug and maybe a little tap to say, hey, are you up? Are you up? Because we're trying to stretch the back of the leg and we want you to wake up. And little action out of you. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in and breath is out. We want to give the other side just as much attention, the left side as the right. Let's turn the toes out when you're ready. You can always stay longer than I do, by the way. If you're enjoying this stretch, you can stay longer. If you want to get out of it sooner because your leg feels heavy or it's just too much, back out. You can always come back in again, but we really want to at least stay in it about 30 seconds. So we're working up to that over time. Breathe in and breathe out and back upright, bend the knee, bring it back in, and let's circle this leg bone around. So hug the knee in, give it a good hug, and then circle around and about. As you breathe in and as you breathe out. Really feel that circle, that circumference. It's not really a perfect circle, right? This is our hip joint. And release. Moving on to warrior two pose. So you can lengthen the right leg and bend the left knee out to the side. And we're going to sit tall. Now, if it's comfortable for you, you can move yourself over so just your left thigh is on the chair. It gives you more space, and this way maybe the chair doesn't cut into you. But if you like the other way, stick with it. You can hold on to the back of the chair to help with your balance. Let's lift tall, and if not, you might lift one arm, you might lift the other, and we're going to gaze over the left fingertips. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in. Let the arms be light like a bird with feathers. And then perhaps we lift our arms upright, bring the palms together and towards heart center. Open up the arms. Now, if you need one arm on the chair, then you just do this one arm. That's fine. It's all good. Bringing the arm, one or both arms up and exhale to center. And let's reverse that. So now go up this way towards your midline, up, 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 and then exhale out. Kind of like, it feels like the breaststroke. Palms up and out. One more time. Palms up, reach high, exhaling. Reach right and left, gaze over your front fingertips, and let's bring this pose back to neutral for the other side. So again, situate yourself and your hips on the chair. You can be something like this. Now, if this knee doesn't want to straighten, bend it. If it's feeling like it's too much when the leg is out to the side, then bring it in a little bit. Now, so you make your adjustments on the chair, and then maybe you hold the back of the chair at first to roll the shoulders up and back. So we're paying attention to our posture. Notice if your ribs are jutting forward, pull them back. Notice if your spine is leaning towards the bent leg and pull it back so it's at center. Then we'll inhale and lift one or both arms, gazing over the right fingertips. Let's have a little floating of the arms, breathing in and breathing out. Breath is in and out. And you might float your arms skyward, bring your palms together, and hands at the heart. Lower the arms down, lift them up, exhaling, pulling them down. And one more, reach out, lift up, exhale, pull down. Now your gaze may follow and not your fingers. Like if it feels good, go for it. Like I should say if it's not uncomfortable for your neck. Let's inhale this time, reach up through your midline and open up the arms. Bring palms together, reach high, open it up. How about another gaze over the fingertips? Release the arms and bring that foot back into center, to neutral. Take your right hand and place it on top of your shoulder and give yourself a little massage there. Our trapezius muscles often get tight. So give it a little massage. And then play with the elbow, lifting up a little bit and then lowering down and lifting up and lowering down. See if you can find that midway point. And then like you're gonna poke your elbow forward and then pull it back. And you're gonna feel your shoulder blade come on your back. And reach the elbow forward and then pull it back. I love that pulling back. It feels like the shoulder blade is home. And let that go. Circle around on your hips. Come back to neutral. Now left hand on shoulder and give yourself a little massage in that trap area. You might notice that one side is tighter than the other or feels a little harder than the other. This is good information for you. And then we're going to lift the elbow up a little bit and lower it down. I know you might want to just sit there and give yourself a massage a little bit more. It's very possible. Lifting elbow up and lowering it down. Now reach the elbow forward and then pull it back. And reach it forward and pull it back. And release down. And shake out your arms, and we will work towards some standing poses. Of course, you can always stay seated, and very often 2 chairs is a great action for you. Getting this out of the way, and I'm going to turn the chair sideways for the wall dog so you don't see my buttocks. And hands are on the seat of the chair or the back of the chair. Feet are about parallel. And then I'm going to walk my feet back. Palms are on the chair. Sitting bones are going to lower as we bend our knees. Take a breath in and a breath out. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhaling And exhaling, nice long spine, a little bit of pulsation with the hips moving upwards and down. You don't have to go very deep. And then we're going to walk our feet back towards the chair, slowly lift up to standing and mountain pose. Let's play with stimulating the bottom of our feet a little bit and our bones. So we're going to stand facing the chair and feet are parallel. So we're in our mountain pose. Our feet are parallel. Our hips are angling over our heels. Knees are soft, meaning they're not locking back. Notice what that does. When we lock our legs back, our posture and our upper body goes forward. And then you might want to roll your shoulders up and back. And just feel your head, your heavy head, just lightly floating over the neck. So it's like you could imagine the tailbone and the top of your head, and they're lining up. Then we get there. Let's inhale and lift the heels upright. And then exhale and slowly lower them down. Now, as you come down, there's a tendency to want to take the weight back, which I actually just did. So we want to actually lower down, straight down, rather than weight coming to the back of the heels. So weight is more centered. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, slowly lower heels down. Feel the weight go more to the center of your foot where I'm pointing right now. Inhale, lift up, Barbie shoes. Now we're going to give a little vibration to the bottom of the foot and the bones. We're just going to let the heels drop. Play with that a little bit. Gentle, but a little bit of vibration. Inhale, lift. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, feel a little vibration at the bottom of your heels. And you notice how far you might feel it up your body. Now, this is not a hard, especially if you know you have osteoporosis, you might not want to do that. You know, you want to be gentle, but you can have a little sensation there. It's going up with the heels and exhale down. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's walk our left leg back and have our right foot forward for a lunge. So take your time to get there. Widen your stance. Right foot's forward, left is back. And we're just going to bend and straighten that front knee. So this is a variation of Warrior One. It is a lunge. We're strengthening our thigh. We're lifting tall. These poses are energizing for sure. So push down firmly through your foot on the front. On the back, you may feel the weight go towards the outside of the foot. That's okay, but still firmly press down through the whole foot, or lift your heel up. If you have tight hips, lift your heel up, and then we can bend both knees a little bit. So lowering down and lifting up. Breathing in and breathing out. So this is a dynamic movement as we lengthen and bend. Now we might stay here for a moment or two. You get to determine how long, and that's going to help strengthen these legs. You're going to feel the strong legs and your muscles working. If you so desire, if it feels accessible to you, you might lift one arm and then exhale and lower it down. We're going to transfer our weight now to the front foot. So we're going to lean forward. That doesn't mean drop the chest. It means lean forward, keep the spine long, and step the left foot next to the right. Notice how the two legs feel different. Notice how they feel different. They're both waking up though. They're both waking up. Now we're going to do the other side. So we start with our feet parallel. I'm going to show it this way for a moment. So if your feet are too narrow, when you take your leg back, it's going to be harder for your balance. If you start more like this and then take your leg back, you're going to have a wider foundation. So this is more like a balance beam, and this is more like railroad tracks, if that helps the way you're thinking. Let's try the other side. Now I've got the left foot forward and the right leg back, and go ahead and move your feet around so that you feel like you do have some width there and some length. You're always going to find that stance that feels stable for you. And then we're going to bend and straighten the front knee a few times, and just notice the sensation as you do this. I'm feeling a stretch in this leg, the back leg. So generally, well, both legs are working, but as we come into more of that static pose, you're going to feel your thigh working on the front leg and maybe a little stretching on this back front thigh. And then if we turn the heel up, we can bend both knees and lift and lower a few times. So this is really, really strengthening, waking up our lower body. Some of you go a little bit deeper, some of you don't. And then maybe find your pose. So you can keep the knees bent, or you can straighten the back leg, or you can put the heel down and play with lifting one of your arms, or both. Find a spot to stare at that's not moving. Breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathing out. Hands go back down if they were up. Transfer the weight to the front foot and bring them back forward. We're back in our stance. Let's go back to a nice wall dog now. And so I'm just going to walk it back. You can use the seat of the chair or the back of the chair. Right here. Sitting bones are back. Spine is long. Breathe in and breathing out. Breath is in and breath is out. And we're going to rise back up, walk the feet back forward. Let's take our strap. Or if you have a cane, you could use that too. We'll do some side stretching. So important to stretch our sides. We've already done some, but we'll do a little more. I'm folding this strap so it doesn't hit me in the head, and you might want to do likewise if you have a long one. Then we're going to hold the strap wider than our shoulders. Feet are parallel. Find your mountain pose. And then you may lift your arms upwards. Now, if they don't go all the way up, that's okay. Just go to where they do. And then we're going to take a side bend. So if they're down like this, you're going to tip like that. So if your arms are down here, because that's your range of motion, you're still going to do your side bend. And it's going to look more like this. If your arms are up here, relax shoulders and take your side bend. Oops, I am almost bumping into the ceiling a little bit there. Now I see what's going on this side of the room. The ceiling is a little bit lower. Inhale, come on up. Good thing I'm not too tall. And then exhale other way. And when you go to the side, pull the strap apart. Ooh, 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 ooh. Now, if it's too much, then widen the strap. If it's not enough, if you widen your hands on the strap, I'll show you what I mean. So if it feels like that was too much, you can widen where you're holding the strap. You can even go wider like that. If it feels like, oh, this is too easy, then you narrow your hands on the strap, so it's more like shoulder distance apart. And then let's do it one more time and take your feet wide. You might have that chair in front of you. Always have the chair where it's best for you for your balance. Feet are wide. And take your side bend. So if you need the chair, then you're gonna leave one hand on the chair, release the strap, and take your up, over to the side, lift back up, exhale, lower it down, find the other side. Grow tall, push down through your feet. Now here's a good place to feel those quadriceps, your thighs, tightening along and hugging the bone. Find your side bend and make sure that you're pulling your belly in. That's going to help your core engage. So it's an inhale. On the exhale, belly pulls in. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower arm down. And walk your feet back towards each other. We'll play with balance just a little bit more. We've already been playing with some balance, but I know you guys love it. So we're back to our mountain, and you can have the chair in front of you or to the side. You can have two chairs. You know I love that because you could have one on each side of you or one in front of you and one on side of you. Walls, love the walls. Love it. Okay, here we go. We're going to maybe take a little bit wider of a stance. Maybe take a little bit wider if that's best for your balance. Feel your feet push down into the earth. We're going to transfer our weight to the right leg and bring the left toes up. Now you can turn the knee out or you can have the knee forward, toes down. Another option is foot on block or lifting knee. Maybe the arm rises upward. Breathe in and breathe out, finding a spot to stare at. If you need to bring the foot back down, please do. If you want to play with both arms upwards, go for it. They could be here. Your hands could be up here. They could be in front of you. You could have one on your heart and one on the chair. You could also, if you have a wall, lean against the wall. Ooh, that was a little door moving. So what is best for you? Now this is another option, is to push your, if your thigh is coming up this high, push your hand into your thigh and get a little bit of leverage. Soft standing knee. And release. There's so many options with balance. Let's try the other side. Now we're going to transfer our weight to the left leg. Find the option that's right for you. Soft knee, staring at a point at the horizon that's not moving. Toes down, foot up, maybe leg out to the side. If you're feeling like this is all super easy for you, go ahead and play with moving your leg a little bit, only if it feels easy to you. You can play with moving it around a little bit and play, of course, with arm positions, but that will change it up. So, you know, I don't want you to feel like it's too easy for you. We want to challenge ourselves, but we want to be safe. So we gotta teeter-totter with that in mind. And then exhale, release it down and let it go. We're going to do one wide-legged stance before we go down to the mat. So it looks like this. And I'm going to give you a few options, actually, so that you'll do the one that is right for you. One is to have your legs wide with the chair in front of you. And this is your wide stance. You could also come down like this with elbows under shoulders. By the way, this is really good for weight bearing. And this is one option. And this is one option. Another option, if it's available to you, I'm going to move the chair so you can see, is to interlace your fingers back behind you, roll the shoulders up and back. Stance is long. I'm showing the side view. I'll show the front after. And then you're hinging from your hip. You're hinging from your hip, not rounding spine like that as you come forward. So we want to keep a nice long spine. We're not looking for a rounded spine. And you can have your hands on your hips or interlacing fingers, elbows moving towards each other. And you only go down as far as you can, keeping that long spine. Hands could come to your thighs or to your legs. And then you can kind of push into them as you lengthen the spine. Now to come back up, we're going to push down through the feet. Roll the shoulders up and back. Feel your shoulder blades on your back and rise up. It looks like it's a flat back rather than a rounded back. And walk your feet back in. So those are nice options for a nice long stance, waking up the legs. Let's go down to the earth. So go down safely. Number one, bring a block and a strap and a blanket for your knees, for your tender knees, and find your way down. You know, I like to put the chair against the wall. That's always the safest. You know that chair is not going to move. And so it would look like this, right? And then we come on down. And you all have different ways for coming down. Do the one that's right for you, and always know that you can get back up or don't go back down, right? Make sure somebody's home to help you. All right, here we go. Let's go on to hands and knees. Hands and knees, we got our preps. So hands are under shoulders and knees are under hips. And if your wrists are bothering you, there's a few options. One is to roll the mat like this. Just remind you guys, you can roll the mat and then put your wrists on the mat and your fingers off. So it's more weight on your ridge tops rather than your wrists. That's one option. Another option is to come down onto your forearms with your elbows underneath your shoulders. And that's a nice option. So choose the one that's right for you, and then let's rock forward and back. As we breathe in, and as we breathe out. And then find our center and extend the right leg back. Push the heel away. I always love this. It's a good little calf stretch. You can rock forward and back. And then let's do the other side. Woo. Left side's a little tighter for me than right, so we just notice that. Now, when you're in your table, you want to make sure your head stays level with your spine. So in other words, we don't want the head dripping down like that, and we don't want it up kinking like that. So crown of the head is reaching forward. Then extend your right leg back. And let's pull the knee in and take the circle around. Start with maybe small circles and then get a little bit bigger. Feel the leg circle in the joint. And then let's extend the leg. Toes can be down. Feel your strong arms pushing your finger pads down, that pointer finger knuckle down. Try not to lock the elbow, and let's lift the leg up. Now, keep the table level, meaning we don't want that. You see how the hip's coming up? You want the hip so it's level. Now, we can't see it, so sometimes it's helpful to have someone come over and say, yep, I could put some lemonade on your hips, on your table, and give you an idea, because we don't always know. Or check it out in the mirror sometime. That's a good idea too. And then let's bring that knee down and do the other side. I'm just going to switch sides this way. You don't have to do that, of course. Extend your other leg back and pull the knee in, circle it around and about. And then let's extend the leg, toes are down or up. And for me, I have to feel like I'm going slightly pigeon-toed with the toes coming into center a bit. Tone the hip, head is level. So the way to make sure the head is level is that you're gazing forward and down. That will really help keep the neck long. Feel your strength. Pull your bellies in and up. Breathe in. And breathe out and release. Let it go. Let's find a child pose. Your child pose, your knees can be apart or together. And then we're going to, if you have sore shoulders, you're going to want your elbows bent for sure. If you don't, you can go ahead and lengthen your arms. But if not, bending your elbows is a nice thing to do, and you might rest your forehead on your arms, your forearms, and feel your breath. Now, if you're cramping back here, then you can take a blanket and put it under your feet, and that should be helpful. Or you might have to shake it out a little bit, or come out of the pose and take a few breaths before going back in. And that just probably means we need to warm up the feet a little bit more. You might sway your hips right and left. Come back to center. And then let's come on to our back for bridge pose. We're going to do some variations on bridge pose. So you might want to keep your blanket nearby for after, for your rest. And then you want your head level with your spine. So if your head is tilting back like this, then you're going to want to put a little blanket under your head like this, but not, you don't want it too high, especially when you're doing bridge, because that's going to flatten your neck. We don't want that. The neck needs its little curve. So if you take your hands back here, you should feel that curve in your neck. Now, feet are parallel and they're just about underneath your knees, the heels are. But if you notice that you cramp when you come up, then take your feet a little bit further forward. Now, when we lift, let's only go halfway and just feel that. Let your arms come a little bit outwards, elbows out just a little bit. And we're going to push down through our feet and lift our hips just about halfway. Now, push your feet down and pull your heels towards you. You're going to feel your hamstrings activate. So this is a strengthener. Now, keep your head, so you're gazing forward. Please don't turn your head in this pose to keep that head, keep the neck protected. And then let's exhale and lower the hips back down. And inhale, lift the hips up. Maybe they come up a little bit higher. We're not trying to jut the hips so far forward. Push down through your feet. Feel your hippies tone. And now I want you to think about lifting your heart upwards and using your muscles between your shoulder blades to lift the heart a little bit more. Feel your shoulder blades come in a little bit more. So we're really working in this pose. And then exhale and come on down. Now, if that all feels fine and dandy for you, and you want to play a little bit more with some strengthening, we can play with lifting one leg in bridge. Now, this is going to depend on how you're feeling. So if you're like, no, I'm not doing that, then do what we just did. Otherwise, here we go. We lift into our bridge. Feel your center, meaning your hips aren't swaying one way or the other. Push down through the right foot and maybe lift the left foot off of the earth, just an inch or two. Pull the belly in. You're going to feel your hips working. Breathe in, breathe out, lower the foot down. Let's lower the hips down, give it a little. And then we'll come on back up, pushing heels down, transfer weight to left side, and lifting maybe the right leg up a little bit. Now, it'll start to feel a little bit more intense the longer you hold it. You get to be the judge how long you hold it. We're going to work it up. It would be nice to at least get to 12 seconds. This is great for all kinds of muscles and bones. And our posture. Place the foot back down. Let the hips dangle a bit, but lift your heart up. So we push down through our forearms. We feel our rhomboids, our muscles in between our shoulder blades. They're activating as you lift your breastbone, your heart upwards and towards your chin. And then exhale and lower it down and take a little break. All right. Let's pull our right knee in towards us. I am going to shift sides again. So you stay where you're at. We can hear Oscar, he's barking. And we're going to bend the right knee towards our shoulder and just gently pull it in towards you. And maybe you lengthen the bottom leg and maybe you don't. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. And then let's switch sides. So start with both knees bent. Bring the left one in. Pull the knee towards your shoulder. And then if it feels accessible, go ahead and lengthen the bottom leg. Where you're going to feel is a stretch right here. Now I'm going to show you something. You only do it if you're not feeling the stretch. And if you want a little bit more in the front of the thigh, and if it feels okay on your back, there's all these ifs, right? But it's a possibility. So if this doesn't look like something you want to do, then do the other one again. So I got a block underneath my hips. Bring the right knee in towards me and maybe extend the other. That's going to increase the stretch right here on the front of the thigh and the long leg. And then place the foot down and maybe switch sides. Now you can stay in these, I really endorse at least 30 seconds because that's the standard rule. And I like even longer when we look at it from a yoga perspective. Another option is to extend both legs and really feel a little stretch there. It's going to depend on your back. If your back doesn't like it, don't do it. But some people really like that. That's why I'm showing that version. And then let's do our last pose before Shavasana, which is the spinal twist. And if you want a little bit more of a hip opener, you can extend the right leg, bend the left knee in towards you, and let the knee fall to the side. If you don't want that hip opener, it'll still give a little, but not maybe as much. Bring both knees in, let them go to the side, and then you can adjust, knees being away from you or towards your shoulder, trying to work both sides of the shoulders down. You might have a blanket underneath or a pillow underneath your knees if they're not going all the way down. This is just such a great pose for opening the front of the body. which that's one of our purposes in the yoga, is to really open the front of the body, because the back body often is often hunching forward and the front of the body gets all tight. And then we come back up and switch sides. Switch sides and think about what you want your resting pose to be. Now, I know a lot of people think, oh, I don't need that resting pose. I'm just going to go move on with my day. But part of the yoga is doing that letting the body have that time to rejuvenate, and it's super duper important. So if I really encourage you, even if you have to stop early to do your shavasana, your resting pose, before you move on with your next activity. So here we are in our last pose, one of the twisting options. And bring awareness to a nice, soft, flowing breath. And you can stay in your twists as long as you desire. And then you might go to lying down butterfly on your way to your resting pose. If some people like to rest right here, let me just show you what 2 blocks under the knees is a really nice option. So it looks like this. And hands can be on belly or down by your side. Eventually, you're finding your way to your final resting pose. You can have a bolster under your knees. You can have your feet on a chair. So I will show those. You stay as long as you want in your twists, your lying down butterfly, or your feet up in some way. So here's with the chair. And I've noticed that people during this time of year are getting some swelling in their legs. They get swelling from not moving, from the weather, from the diet. So having your feet up on a chair is a really nice thing to do. If you have somebody nearby who can help place the chair for you, that's nice. Otherwise, it could be worth your while to move it. Or you can do this in bed and put your feet up on a wall if your bed is against a wall. That's a nice option as well. Find your resting pose. Relaxing the whole body. You might cover yourself with a blanket. I have some people that feel like they have a really tight lower back, and you could stick a little rolled towel underneath your lower spine and a little roll. Really, really teeny roll, but just to help bring a little lengthening to the spine. I can show you that after if you're curious. Relaxing jaws, upper and lower. Relaxing tongue. Relaxing the skin on your face. You know the earth is beneath you. And you can feel the air above you. Following the breath with your inward gaze, without trying to change it in any way. So enjoy your resting pose on this Friday in July, last Friday. And when you're ready, make sure you roll to your side to come up. So I'm going to slowly come up I'll close our time together. We very much enjoy Friday mornings with you. Palms come to heart center. And we take this time for gratitude. Gratitude of the mind, the body, the breath, the spirit, for being you, just as you are. Perfect. Namaste, everyone. I'm here for any questions.